Hey, what's up, guys? It's Bradu. I'm back for some more Terra Invictus, Solodark, Shadowdark. Okay, I said Solodark this time. I haven't. I at least pulled up the Solodark rules. It's pretty. It's. I haven't really used the actual Solodark supplement, but I'll try it. So today I'll try using that Oracle system and the prompts that are listed here. That's kind of all there is to the Solodark. There's some tables for dungeon names and stuff like that, but that's not really all. Really, all solo play comes down to the part where the dice become the DM is using an oracle for yes or no questions and prompts when you need like a hint of motivation for a character or what does this mean type of thing. There's verbs and what is it? Verbs and nouns or something? Verb noun, yeah. So it's a D100 table for verb and noun. So that's it. So we ended off last session. Man, I was super excited with how the session ended. The battle with the Grimlocks, who are still sitting here, which was quite thrilling. Frankly, it was that's what kind of what it's all about. So I think we're getting very close to our first destination, which is Morieux. Um, let's see, we are starting on Hex 3120. Oh, I suspect we'll get to Morieux right away. Um, so, yeah, here we go. Little Solodark. So, if you want to see me play with myself for the next half hour or so, stick around. 3120. Oh, I know there's two orders of business I wanted to cover. We found chainmail last time. After thinking it over, Nura is gonna upgrade her leather armor to the chainmail. Give her leather armor to Patch, who's a human teenage boy, and I'm imagining that would fit. I just decided so chainmail would give her she would get disadvantage on stealth, but she even as a ranger she hasn't had the need to use stealth very much, and her dex is so poor it's not really what she relies on. So I decided that the AC boost was far more important for now than the stealth. And when I'm able to, I'll upgrade to an armor that gives her at least as good of an AC and doesn't hinder her ability to do stealth. And the other thing, also like a bookkeeping thing regarding Nura, I've been having Krell do our navigation, and I think I want Nura to be our navigator because she's a ranger, and I had overlooked that on the ranger thing. I think this is my cat. I thought somebody was trying to get in my room here. It's the cat. That's funny. Navigation. So advantage on navigation. So Krell has a slightly higher intelligence, which is why I was giving him the role. But she'd get, she's going to be better at navigation with a rolling at an advantage. Which brings the question: I kind of wanted each character to have a role in the adventuring part of things, but her being a ranger covers so much of it. So she's going to be navigation, hunting, whatever. And Orgo is our like camp finder, and honestly, she'd probably be as good or better at that too. But I wanted to spread the wealth. Um, I'm not quite sure what other roles there would be that would come into play every time. I guess maybe somebody to be cooking, but we don't really have that as a relevant thing. Nura, again, I did a lot of kind of research on rangers because some questions came up about how to use her herbalism. I'm gonna play her herbalism like this. I'll try to remember to use it when it makes sense. So, like for instance, yesterday the battle with the Grimlocks, it would have made sense as we're going into the cave for her to try to make a Phobane herbal remedy right there. Right then. Herbal remedy. Phobane, advantage on attacks against one creature type. Grimlocks, right? And also probably a salve, which initially I watched the class design thing today that Kelsey did on coming up with it, and it was initially called a mushroom or something. So that made more sense to me in my head about being able to do it on the fly. And like, because I remember I kind of, if you watched that episode, I kind of fretted over whether I could create a salve in the middle of combat, and well, if it's just shoving a mushroom into his mouth, then that makes more sense, right? Than having to do a turn grinding up ingredients to create some concoction. So the other thing I'm going to do is just assume that as we're traveling every day, Nura is looking for herbalism, for herbs and for things. She's going to have an herb pouch, and she just stuffs things and packs it away. And so I'm going to kind of retcon that and play it as an abstraction of she's got the herbs that she can for the day, and if and when I need to make a remedy, I will then roll the DC, and if I fail, that means she wasn't able to find that herb on this day. It's not necessarily that she didn't make the thing. It's that, oh, she wasn't able to come up with those ingredients today, so that one's out, right? That's kind of how I'm going to play it. Or if she succeeds once or twice and then fails it, well, she had some, but she ran out. So that's how I'll play that. Like I said, I'll try to remember to do it when it makes sense, but I don't want to have to track that. In solo play, when you've got 4 characters or more, it just is kind of easier if you can retcon or auto play some of those things. So she's automatically always on the lookout for herbs, and I'll do that if and when I need to. That's how I'm going to play. So let's get going. We start at 3120. We're trying to get to 3019. Nura will be our navigator. She rolls a 13 plus 1. That's good enough. Navigate is just a 9, so she gets to 3019. And I bet that is Morieux. Oh, we moved into a different area, it looks like. 3019, not Morieux. So, okay. But we're close. Warm and sunny most of the day. Cool fog in the evening. Loud insects. Okay. So we rested. We finished our last episode resting at night. Got the Wand of Magic Missiles. I looked up how that works. So I think I got that. It basically is a spell. I got to be careful because I don't want to roll a crit miss. A natural 1 means the wand is broken. So I got to be a little choosy about when to use that, but that's helpful. Farmland. Secure and well-patrolled area. Okay, so relatively safe because we're getting so close to Morieux, I believe is why. Under the control of Landeronde. Covered in prosperous farms and ranches, ugly white goats roam freely and will eat anything. Will they eat us? Let's see. Let's roll a random encounter check. Maybe. We do have a random encounter, and it is going to be goats. No, not goats. A merchant with a wagon carrying 40 buckets of sticky black tar. Sticky black tar. Didn't that come up in the first episode? I don't need buckets of sticky black tar. Maybe we could tell him that we saw some of that and ask him about it. What is the sticky black tar? I really don't have anything coming to my mind just yet. So I'm going to go to the Solodark chart and just see if this gives me any sort of clue from the prompts. And it may not, because I don't really get anything yet. Sticky black tar being significant? Obviously it is, it's come up twice, but let's see if we can have any idea what it has to do with. 20 and 3. 20 and 003. So 20, push, battle. Push battle. So it has something to do with getting ready for a battle, or could it be like pine tar, like a baseball bat, like you use it for your sword so you don't lose grip on the sword when you're fighting? That's the best I got. We do know that the group of soldiers who are kind of after us are bullying the tiny little town that we were at last time. That we kind of hid out at for a day. So maybe they're getting ready in case they have to fight. But I don't know that that's really gonna come up just yet. I got it just kind of in the back of my head that at some point we may need to help that small village or whatever settlement protect against all those soldiers. I don't know how the heck I'm going to do that if we do, because I think I remember it was like 300 soldiers. So anyway, that's all I'm going to take from that. There's nothing else here. So we do have to get through. We only have to check once per day on the random encounter. Safe, because we're so close to Morieux. So I don't even have to make another random encounter check, and there's nothing else to find in this hex. It's just a nice... should I do another random encounter on purpose? Like, should I look for something? Is that a thing? I guess not. So we just say we travel for our 4 hours in this hex, try to navigate towards Morieux again. I think we can see it at this point, and we're good. So Morieux is 3018 now. 3019 is a merchant with black tar. We had no real anything there. 3018 is Morieux. I don't think there's random encounters as you enter a settlement. So let's just see what it says. So we're safe, essentially, I think. And we might have a little bit... I don't know how deep I'm going to dig into the role-playing aspect of this, but we'll see if maybe a quest or something pops up for us. Hopefully at least some shopping, because now we have a little bit of gold to spend, right? Cool and windy with ever-present stinging drizzle, overcast sky. Morieux, pivotal mercantile town along Landeron's southern frontier. It serves as a vital trade link between the Rand and Hool River valleys. The land is rich, but threatened by a wild and unknown frontier. Starting location. Oh, I think I just read this. This is a suggested starting location. So we've already played a few sessions, but essentially that was kind of a pre-play. I mean, this is still a starting location. We're not even halfway to level 2 yet. So we're still a level 1 party. I just made it kind of a struggle to get here. This is a suggested starting location. Give the players time to speak with the NPCs. I'm soloing, so... allow additional rumor table rolls for nights spent socializing in town. So I might spend a night or two here. We should be able to establish some goals and objectives based on information. Good, that's kind of what I was thinking. Decisions made without information are meaningless. So that kind of tells me find some clue, find some quest, and go after it. Rather than just... I don't really want to leave this hex like, well, I guess we'll travel north and see what we run into. I might end up doing that, but I'd rather come up with some sort of objective. Good campaigns are built upon informed player choices. Well, I'm the only player, so do your best to support. That's me. I will support myself. Ground transport if we need to travel somewhere. Trade Morieux as a production center. I don't think I'm supposed to just read all this because I have to try to get to it. Rumor. Let's try this rumor. Let's see, page 69. Rumor settlement. Some rumors are so prevalent that you don't need to roll on the rumor table. If you see this icon, you can read the rumor for free. Okay, and I started to glance at it. It was telling me something about the giant eagle, which we, I believe, encountered, but didn't do anything, didn't fight or anything, but we saw it, and we found out that it took the engineer from that small town and killed him. So we got the rumor, transport. Oh, so I have to roll to learn about the other stuff. Transports, discoveries, all that. Let's see what else we can find then. We learned about the rumor, the trade. I'll figure out. People are present in this town. There are temples. I don't have anybody who's really deeply into temple stuff. What are those? Holy cow, we got a lot of things I gotta try and cover here. I have to go in order, or I should go in order, correct? Let's start with, not gonna worry about the temple. I will go to this little, I think it's an NPC. Yeah, DC 12. That's a charisma check, right? So that's going to be Nora, who's our high charisma. So she's kind of our talker. She does not get to talk to him. Do I get to go to the next one? I think I'm going to get to go to the next one. So I'm going to skip the first NPC. There were like 3 or 4 of them, and do the second one. I won't necessarily remember. So this one says Darian. Darian is an infantry recruiter in the service of the king. He's recruiting soldiers for the war with Morieux. So there is a war coming up that might have to do with that black tar. He can inform the party. There's a marvelous town site. Noble title. All that sounds a little bit far ahead of me. Let's backtrack a little bit and do... I do think I'm supposed to go through some of this. But let's do a rumor. 2 gold piece per day to roll once per day. I'm kind of assuming that's per character. I'm assuming. So we have 4 characters, but I don't really want to spend 8 gold out the gate. So let's go kind of one at a time and decide. So we'll say we're heading to the inn. You know, there's a tavern, there's some people. Not going to worry too much about who's in there. We're just going to say we're doing some drinking, which means we're spending gold on drinks, and that's where the 2 gold goes. And we might hear a rumor, and that is the dwarves and drow. So this was going to be Orgo's rumor. He's a dwarf, so he finds some dwarf that he's talking to. The dwarves and drow are waging a full-scale war underground. Now we are in Morieux. Orgo learns dwarves are at war with drow. Okay, good enough. That's interesting, but I am gonna continue. So we're gonna do another rumor for one of the other party members. 10. Sahuagin thrive in the waters around the island of Norvain. Sahuagin. I think that's how you say that. At least that's how I'm going to say it. Near Norvain. That sounds at least kind of interesting. How far is Norvain? If it's close-ish, that might be a fun thing to do. I'm not seeing it. Maybe it's on the color map. Morieux, we are here. Do we see Norvain anywhere? It's not jumping out at me. Oh God, way down here. So I'm not worried about that. Never mind. I guess we're still doing rumors. 3. Someone is brutally blind. This is a spoiler alert, by the way. If you're planning to play Terra Invictus and start at Morieux, you're going to find some of the same stuff. You might consider starting at a different area if you're following this and think it looks interesting. Or, hey, you get to go in with a little bit of a intel. Someone is brutally blinding, then abandoning travelers on the roads. I do want to find out who that is. Someone is blinding and abandoning travelers. And that sounds like it might be near here. I'm going to write nearby, even though that might not be true. And I guess I'm going for the last one. 1. Clan of militant centaurs control the coastal plain south of Hool River. Militant centaurs south of Hool River. Okay, I don't know if I have a lead I really want to follow there just yet, but we have some rumors. All true. Let's do a little shopping. I am going to assume that we have shops. 8,000 residents. I'm going to assume we have basically access to most of the normal stuff. So what is our main priority? Probably armor for Orgo. Honestly. Armor for Orgo. We have 25 gold piece and 250 silver pieces, which is another 25 gold piece. So we only have 50 gold piece. I had in my head that we had a lot more than that. That might not even be because chainmail. Well, let me check out my little armor. Oops, wrong thing. Let me check out my armor that I am using for Shadowdark. I have, and I tried to do this pretty fair with a spread from leather, light armor, a couple other like studded leather, also light armor, slightly better than leather. Chainmail then being the worst of the medium armors. But then there's a couple other medium armors that would take up 2 slots, just like chainmail, but maybe don't have the drawbacks to disadvantage and slightly better armor. And then heavy starts with ringmail. Okay, good. That will work. So I'm going to buy ringmail. It's going to take almost half of the party's gold, but that's okay. 3 slots, 20 gold, 12 AC. But he right now is way low. So we're definitely buying ringmail. And I'm not even going to do a roll to see if that is available. This is like the main starting town. I'm going to say they have the basic lowest level armors and weapons available. So they would have leather, they would have ringmail, and they would have chainmail. If I wanted something better, an upgrade, I would probably make some sort of roll for it. But we're definitely going to say we can get some ringmail. So we'll buy ringmail for Orgo. That's going to cost 20. I will take it out of our silver pieces. So we spend 200 silver pieces, so we're not carrying around as much coin. And he is going up to... He still has to take his dex. Yeah, he still has to take the hit to dex. But his armor will go from... I think it goes up... Let's see. Right now he has no armor, but he has a shield. So he's a 9 armor at base. He gets -1 for his dex, but +2 for his shield for a total of +1. So whatever it says there, 12. So he's going to go up to 13. And it's ring plus shield, ring, mail. He is... out of? He is out of. Oh no, he's got a 15 strength. Okay, I thought for a minute he was out of slots, but he got rid of his longsword and his club, so I got a couple gear slots I can fill in there. Okay, that's good there. Oh, plus his talent that I rolled initially is +1 AC on with heavy armor. He now is wearing heavy armor, so he goes up another one. So his AC goes from 11 to 14 by getting some armor. Love that. That's great. Still feel like I'm off on that. 12, 13, 14, 15, and then -1 for the dex. That's why. Okay, good there, good there. Offhand, I can't think of any other major shopping we need to do. Except I do want to get... do I need to make a little card for Patch? Because he's still with us. I don't really want to keep Patch in the group. At least not right now. So never mind that. We're going to tell Patch, look, you're in Morieux. Stay here. Maybe he can find something to do around town. And we'll keep him as an idea on the back burner. I do love that he came in and helped out in our last battle. So that's great. Man, even when I feel like I'm not super slow, we're like a half hour into this video, and all we've done is made it to the town and, and bought new armor. Read a couple of rumors, so that's okay. It's not the end of the world. I might cut this. I'll have to think this through. On stuff like this, do you really want to see every detail? There's probably not many people who are interested in that. So I might go, all right, scrap this video, and then say, next time I say, okay, so in between this session and last session, I made it to Morieux. We upgraded some armor. We left Patch there. We learned a few rumors. This is where we're headed now. That might be my play here. Because this is good, but nothing has really happened either. For now, I'm going to stick in Morieux for just a second longer and see if anything happens. Rumor? What's that sword thing? Oh. PCs of any class can be recruited by visiting taverns and inns. I do like that. Right now we've got 4. We could add to our group. Do we want to do that? You know what I'm going to do? Rather than just decide 100% that we're going that route, let's have a little fun interaction here. So we're at the inn, or go talk to some dwarf. Was that maybe somebody? We're talking around town, trying to find out if anybody is interested in joining the party. I'm going to do a charisma check for Nura, who would be the one looking. I'm going to say it's going to be easy. This is for the first day. I'm going to say it's easy because it sounds like there's plenty. So it doesn't seem like it would be real hard. Finding the right one might be different. So let's find out what we got. A 16. She does find someone. Great. Let's see who Nura or who our party talks to. And what I'm going to do for that, rather than like roll their class or whatever, is I'm just going to roll ability scores. That'd be kind of fun, right? And that way we'll have an idea if this is somebody we want. If I roll great, then yeah, like, oh, hey, I think maybe you should join us. If we roll crap, then maybe we won't even... I don't know. Is that a cheating way to do this? Not really sure, but I kind of like the idea. So we're going to roll a character, and that's who we met today. And it's a potential. Doesn't necessarily mean they're joining, but it's a potential. So here we go. We meet somebody who has a 18 strength. When's the last time you rolled an 18? You see that, right? Just making sure. 18 strength. Oh my god. 14 dex. If their con is high, like, this is nuts. 13 con. I don't even care about the rest of the scores. Holy shnikey. 16. 12. And 14. Is that not the best character ever rolled in Shadowdark? Definitely. I've rolled up hundreds of characters just for fun. This is definitely the best character I've ever rolled up. Every single score is a bonus. So, we find someone. They are a... Let's do the race. I might end up keeping this video after all. Right after I said that. And give us a group of 5. Let's see. Where's my random character stuff? Race class. Here we go. Race. I'm gonna go core, but just for, well, yeah, I'm gonna roll a d12. Again, I don't really want a goblin. I mentioned that at the get-go when I was creating characters, so I'm gonna treat 12 as a choice if I happen to roll a 12. 7 is a dwarf. So this is probably who Orgo talked to. That would make a lot of sense. This is a dwarf with high strength, con, even intelligence. And what he said is that dwarves are fighting with drow. And maybe he really got Orgo, like maybe they really bonded over this, let's fill a tankard. I had a dwarf character. Oh, you know what's perfect? I gotta tell you guys something here, because I just looked at this character. So here's Orgo, right? The first real D&D character I played had a helmet exactly like this, and I designed it in my head so that he would take his helmet off, and it balanced on these horns, and there was like a third tip somewhere on the top or the back that helped it balance, and he would fill that with ale and drink out of that. That was his character trait. So he's got the helmet that I was trying to draw. That's really funny. So maybe they filled up his helmet and they, are drinking, filling up their helmets and drinking out of that. This is kind of fun. So I'm going to... I don't even think I need to roll for this because the story's kind of coming together. I could roll for some, do you want to join our party? We need to do a charisma check, but it fits, right? So I rolled up some rumors, and then none of them totally caught my attention at the beginning, but now I've rolled up some stats, and it's a dwarf, and we had a check to see if we found a potential party member, and that was a yes. So it's this dwarf. And he's clearly can scrap, can do a little bit of everything. What class is he going to be? Probably a fighter, but do I want to try something a little more exotic? Potentially. With those kind of numbers, could be kind of anything. So I might figure out who this character is going to be, and go from there. So let's give it a quick pause while I figure out my next step. Alright guys, so I figured out what I'm gonna do here. And this is gonna take things in a little different direction, but I'm actually really excited about it. So just a second ago, I told you guys the little story about Orgo's helmet and how it reminded me of a previous character. What is this? That I had created and played. It was kind of my first real character I played in a group when I started playing D&D 5e. Probably my favorite character. Anyway, I'm going to use him. He's actually kind of a perfect fit here. So here's the deal. His name is Abbot Ale Drinker. The character is based off of Tank Abbott. I'm a big UFC fan from way back when it first started. Tank Abbott, UFC fighter. I did a drawing of Tank Abbott. This is what I do in it's my day job, kind of draw UFC fighters. So the character, so I turned him in. I always just thought he looked kind of dwarfish anyway. So I turned him into a dwarf by giving him bushier eyebrows. I just took this card and drew on it. This I did years ago, but this is my token for my D&D character. So he's now a Shadowdark character. Abbott Ale Drinker. And I started with the concept because of the name Tank. He was going to be the tank of the group. He's a barbarian. Shadowdark doesn't have a barbarian, but this is going to be a chance for me to unleash on the world a barbarian that I had kind of designed based on the 5e barbarian, and I kind of tried to Shadowdark it. So that's what he's going to be. So I started to fill this in, fill a little character sheet for him. Here's my barbarian. Weapons all, armor, no metal armor, so he could wear hide leather or use shields. Hit points, D10 per level. This might be overpowered. I don't know. I'm open to feedback on this. It is a playtest, right? Rage, +2 damage and advantage on strength checks while raging. You must attack each turn or the rage ends. Melee attack is what I put. And I was kind of thinking, how do I turn that into a Shadowdark ability? And they use like the spell thing or the ranger herbalism check. So I was thinking maybe wisdom is the best way to go about being able to control going into and out of a rage. So I put this, and maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Easy wisdom check to enter your rage. Wisdom 9. If you try it again the same day, it goes up to a 12. If you try it again, it goes up to a 15. So it's harder. It gets harder and harder to rage and come back out of it. Great Weapon Master, +1 to attack and damage when using two-handed weapons. Again, that might be overpowered as I'm thinking of how Kelsey does things. I have a talent chart here that includes critical rage, making crits on a 19 and 20, +1 melee attacks, +2 to strength or con. Reduce damage by half while raging. Ooh, that's a good one. Shit, that might be too much. Again, that's all right. I'm gonna wing it, and if I toy with this, I will. And this is the big one that I really liked about the barbarian in D&D. And when I rolled up a high con and dex, can add your con and dex bonus to AC. So I'll probably give him like hide armor. It'll be leather, but I'll call it hide. And then con and bonus and no shield. So my concept for the character is based on Tank Abbott. So pit fighting background, and I could bring that into play at some point maybe, but it makes sense because he was he's a brawler in UFC, and he called his background pit fighting. So he's a dwarf. Oh, I have not painted this guy. I started painting him years ago, but I bought him with Abbott Ale Drinker in mind, and I started painting him. So maybe this gives me motivation to finish painting him. So I'm thinking darkish beard. Maybe he would have he's not going to have gloves. He would have a rotund belly, which you can't really see here, but be otherwise pretty ripped. Tank Abbott was a fat guy. So yeah, like axe, I think is very fitting. So I'm going to use that mini. I guess that's all I've got for it. Oh, the idea is Abbott Ale Drinker. He also talked openly about drinking beers and stuff, so that was also part of it. To enter a rage, he uses alcohol so in his water skin instead of water, it's beer, ale. So anyway, that's just kind of a fun little thing. So let's fill out his sheet here a little bit. I need to do his hit points. Where am I at here? we need to do his hit points and talent roll. And for being a dwarf, he gets, what do I have? +1 to strength or con. I think that's how I do it. And I'll do con because his strength is already at an 18. So for being a dwarf, we'll put his con up 1. 14. Talent roll is not going to be in the book, and hit points is not going to be in the book. A D10 for hit points. 9. Sweet. So his hit points is going to be 9. Oh, and I roll it at advantage, but okay, good. 9, 10, 11, unless I roll a talent for something else. So let's roll his talent. 4. What do I have for 4 on talents? +1 to melee attacks. Nice and standard and boring. +1 melee for his talent. So we now know his strength is going to be 18, dex 14, con 14, intelligence 16, wisdom 12, charisma 14. Crazy. That's nuts. That's a +4, +2, +2, +3, +1, +2. His AC is going to get the 2 from dex and 2 from con. That's crazy too, right? And I'm going to start him out with no armor, I guess. Puts him at a 14 already. No, I'm going to give him hide armor. And I guess it makes sense to give him a battle axe, right? Because we're in the town. I don't know. I generally would start him off with a crappy axe instead, but I don't think that makes sense here. Especially since we're finding him. I'm going to start him at level 1, but we're going to give him a great axe. Okay. And I'll worry about his gear. He's going to just have the standard gear beyond that, I think. I won't even worry about a ranged weapon for him just yet. Did the talent roll, did hit points. Anything else I'm missing, I'll try and figure it out as I go, because I want to keep this rolling. Let's see. Anything else, though, it's tricky because it's a custom class. So let me know what you think of my barbarian, first of all. My first thought, so I wrote all this down a long time ago, as in several months. And this is the first I've looked at it in a while. So I haven't toyed with it, but maybe the rage has to be a +1 damage. Maybe the great weapon master is too much. Maybe something in there is too much, and I'm not quite sure what. But for right now, I'm just going to roll with it until I decide what has to go. I think he has to have rage. I want a barbarian to focus on larger, powerful weapons, and I want a barbarian to be unarmored if at all possible. Maybe I do only the con and dex bonus if they don't wear armor. In which case, that would give him a 14, and maybe that's more reasonable. That might be one thing to consider. So anyway, what happens is, I am going to keep this video now, even though it's long and no combat, because it became integral to the story. So I wish I knew more about editing, because I probably would edit out some of the crap here, because I farted around a lot. But now we have a new party. We have Abbott is going to join Orgo, and they want to go fight the battle with the Drow, or go towards that direction at least. We're going to leave Patch behind in Morieux. Hopefully he's good here for now, and our party of 5 will progress forward. And that's where we'll end for this session. And all right. Thanks for watching, you guys. Hope you're enjoying this, and we'll see where the adventure takes us next. All right. I'm Brady.